We're back. It's been a while. Now this video is going to be a little bit different to what it was intended to be when it first started to be created, which was about 6 weeks ago. And I've kind of been sat on it not knowing what to do with it, and then a Google update after update has come out and it's evolved into what you're about to watch. So I hope you enjoy it.
Right now, there seems to be a bit of an issue with the largest search engine in the world. And I've become more and more aware of it as I've tried to rank for keywords that just seem out of reach. As SEOs like you and me grapple with algorithms and search quality rater guidelines and getting hit again and again, why does it seem like Google is broken? So let's go on a quest to figure out if it is indeed To demonstrate this, I'm going to need the help of some Twitter friends. So we've got Little John Mueller, we've got If Jamie, and a great supporting cast. Well, at least I would if Little John Mueller didn't keep changing his name. He's hard to find when you search for him on X. Viewer discretion is advised. The following scene could be very upsetting and contains examples of extreme sarcasm. I'll set the scene. It's the day of Jackie Chow's London meetup. I was minding my own business, eating lavish food on a first-class train to the event, when suddenly all hell broke loose on what was then Twitter. Little John Mueller posted a tweet to which many niche site owners took exception. Was he indeed provoking the niche site community, and if not, who was he pointing the finger at? Anyway, Jamie IF responded with a pretty iconic reply that not only saw the community take more note of the initial tweet, the response ratioed LJM's original like count. The king of sarcasm responded with,
"Oh, I didn't realise niche sites felt like they belonged in this group. Interesting take."
Now, if I was going for an interview to be a Google search advocate, I wonder how that interview would go if I wanted to get the job.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Jason, are you happy to do a bit of role play?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I used to be a drama teacher, so I'm sure I can manage a bit of role play.
Great. Imagine I'm a website owner. I'd just like you to reply with how you might respond to the following question in a tweet. It would be wonderful if that were the case. I keep hearing this from Google and keep seeing parasite sites completely unrelated to the niche dominate the earnings with fluff pieces that don't actually say anything.
Okay, how about this? So, as an organisation, we're actively aware of some situations where the SERPs are showing less than desirable results. It's something we're actively looking to tackle as a company and trying to find the right balance between rewarding authority and helpful content.
Sorry, no, that's far too helpful a response. We prefer much more vague, sarcastic responses as we can't be held accountable.
Okay, I get it. I think I've seen this John Mueller tweet actually. I think this might be exactly what you're looking for. How about this? A page doesn't have to be on a site that's related to the niche in order to be useful and helpful. You don't need to have a niche site in order to rank in Google. In fact, sometimes that's a good way not to rank.
Fantastic, you've got the job.
Oh, great, thanks.
So that leads us to a dilemma. Do we create helpful content on niche relevant sites that take years of work to build up? Or do we create mediocre content purely for the purpose of making money and pay to place it on sites such as Outlook India and Deccan Herald? Google would tell you that you should focus on creating helpful content that is made to give value to humans, but one look at the search results for tons of queries will tell you the complete opposite. Do we go dark side or stay in the light? What are you doing? Let me know in the comments below.
That was obviously just done for fun, and actually I started recording this video before the core update. Now, since I recorded all of that, we've had a core update. We're now 5 or 6 days, maybe a week into the helpful content update, and things are actually worse than ever. So there's a few points that I want to kind of make here. So I'm going to refer back to notes that I've made. And the first thing is, look, I don't want this to be a character assassination of John Mueller. He's not the issue with Google. However, he is the link between the search engine and the everyday guy and girl who are creating niche sites. And to me, he has some form of responsibility in actually taking that role seriously and alleviating the fears of creators, rather than giving vague responses, very unhelpful responses and being quite obnoxious a lot of the time in those responses. Now, the guy's talented. I've seen some of the responses that he gives to certain questions, and he can give real value, but for some reason he doesn't seem to take this role seriously, or even acknowledge the fact that there are real people behind these websites. And then you see a tweet from John Muller saying that niche relevance doesn't matter. That again goes completely the opposite to what Google put out there. It just causes confusion. And site owners just want clarity. We just want to know, what are we supposed to do? What should we be rewarded for? Now again, the SERPs do not align with what Google are asking people to do. Now, like I said, I don't want this to be a character assassination by any stretch of the imagination. What I do want, though, is for Google to at least acknowledge the fact that their search engine is not fit for purpose the way it currently is. And from what I've seen so far with SGE, and particularly in this helpful content update, it's getting worse, not better. So not only do we as site owners potentially have an issue, I think in the long term Google have a massive issue here, and I think people like John and the search liaison team should take their role a lot more seriously and really try and work with site owners to create high quality content that is helpful to everyone that's present on Google. Now for me, this leads us to a bit of a dilemma. So I've gone out there before and I've said, look, you go where the attention is. So currently the attention is on forums, and it's on these huge authority sites. Not even huge authority sites really, are they? They're just news publications like Outlook India and Deccan Herald and Times Union and places like this. So do we go out and put mediocre content on those and rake in the money, or do we continue to put our heart and soul into whether you want to call them niche sites or authority sites, whatever you want to call them? Do we continue to do that? Because at the moment it feels like there's a condescending tone from Google advocates towards niche site owners, and it's the AI content farms and forums. I've got nothing against forums really at all, but these parasite posts that are just rinsing any competitive search term. Now to me, Google is pushing these genuine site owners and decent creators towards parasite. There's no other way that we can go. If we still want to make a living online, then we have to go down that route. Now look, I didn't really want this to turn into a rant video. I actually wanted it to be quite an entertaining video, but Google gave me no choice really. So, but look, if you want to hear more on my strategy, I've got a full strategy that I've been putting in place for the last 6 months or so, probably a bit longer, and that is probably going to become even more important going forwards on how we tackle this world of parasite SEO. Then you're going to want to check out my talk at John Dykstra's Fat Stacks Affiliate Summit. It's an online event. So check that out. I'll put a link down in the description below. It's completely free for the live talks. If you can't join live, then there is an option to buy the recordings. I think it's about $100 or so. So yeah, you probably want to check that out. Now, one thing that I do want to point out in this video is, like I said, it's not what I intended this video to be, but if you are a site owner and you're in the middle of this helpful content update, I just want to point out that this is early days in this update. We're about a week in. The last helpful content update lasted for 38 days. Now, a lot of people are saying that they think the SERPs are going to be rolled back, the impact on them is going to be rolled back a little bit. I would not be surprised if that happens. However, my advice is to just operate as normal during this update. Don't do anything radical, but at the same time, don't just stop publishing altogether. Continue to do what you would normally do with your websites, and that's the best advice that I can give.